are here. They're scheduled to be the first four as we move on to the main card here, and what an epic main card it is. This is being kicked off by Bo Nickel and, of course, the light heavyweight championship fight, Jamal Hill and Alex Pereira. John Anik joining us now. That is one of the sweetest T-shirts I've seen in a long time, Anik. One more sleep, baby.
Well, we had to harken back to 1993, the Ultiman logo, so thank you very much for that. I just have to say, the last time we did a UFC weigh-in here at the Apex was for UFC 296 last December. There is so much more going on in here today. I can't necessarily articulate it for you folks, but just so much noise, so many fighters here, so much media here. I'm getting anxious just talking to you folks. Won't be long now, folks. UFC 300 tomorrow night. Let's go.
I know. I can't wait for your open. I've heard you say that this is one of those fight cards where you never had to check the name files because everybody on this card is a name brand. What has the preparation been like for UFC 300 for the voice of the UFC, John Anik?
Well, actually, in terms of the fighter prep, it has been a little bit easier. Oftentimes, as you guys well know, for these UFC pay-per-views, we feature a lot of highly touted prospects. There have been times where we have 5 or 6 rookies on a UFC pay-per-view, and DC and I and Joe have to do a deep dive on those athletes. For these athletes, I'm pretty prepared, and to your point, we didn't need the pronunciation guide, but the thought of Davison Figueiredo and Cody Garbrandt hitting the tunnel at 3:10 p.m. Pacific time is fucking absurd. And I would say to you folks, I don't think we're going to have a card this deep until 2032 at UFC 400, so hopefully fans enjoy it.
Yeah, pretty incredible. And, of course, that fight kicks off the card leading up to the main event. Alex Pereira and Jamal Hill. And listen, the numbers say this is pretty close in terms of the odds, but I feel like Jamal has really been embracing that underdog mentality coming off that ruptured Achilles. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. And I think from a betting perspective, there are some similarities when it comes to the fight between Alexander Volkanovski and Ilia Topuria not all that long ago. I think a lot of people are thinking, man, Volk's just a slight favorite. How come? Because the challenger's really good. And certainly the Achilles is part of the pre-fight narrative when it comes to Jamal Hill, but he has left no stone unturned. Obviously, he looks like he's in tremendous shape, and I think he's really going to go for it stylistically. I think he's going to march across the octagon and try to make this a quick fight. It's a fascinating main event, and I think anybody who has followed Jamal's career is just really happy, given where he was at last July, that this moment, and, you know, this monetary moment, too, is happening for Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill here tomorrow night.
And perhaps the people's main event, the BMF title fight, Gaethje and Holloway. Gaethje, 12 fights, 12 performance bonuses. But when you really look at Justin Gaethje, especially the last fight or two, I feel like he's taken a step in the right direction in terms of his evolution as a fighter. Did he talk about that at all in his fighter meeting?
We touched on it a little bit, and it's a great point, Hellcat, because this guy has been through a marked evolution. I thought Justin Gaethje was one of the best fighters of the year in 2023. Rafael Fiziev has been an oft-avoided guy at lightweight, and what Justin was able to accomplish against him, and then to capstone that by knocking out Dustin Poirier for the BMF belt, I do think if Gaethje's able to take care of business this weekend, he should be next for the undisputed title, and I think this version of Justin Gaethje can probably actually go win it. So we'll see what happens Saturday night, first things first, but Gaethje's certainly on the cusp of undisputed greatness, I think, if he can take care of business Saturday night.
All right, my dude, you have some work to do. Weigh-in set to start here in about 3 minutes. The voice of the UFC, John Anik, kind enough to join us as we move on to a little more main event talk. Alex Pereira and Jamal Hill, DC, he's getting thrown right into the fire coming off a ruptured Achilles, which we've talked about all week, right? A lot of people have in terms of an Achilles was a career ender just years ago. We've seen Aaron Rodgers, who went to the same doctor as Jamal Hill, come back or attempt to come back in less than a year. Didn't work out that way for him with the Jets. But here is Jamal, right? 9-10 months removed from the injury. You were playing in the basketball game with him. If you're coaching Jamal this week, it's just a little fun fact. I mean, it's not like you did it.
Dude, don't remember the buzz, huh? I mean, I wasn't there.
I felt an implication.
Did you?
Yeah, you implied that I was a part of it.
I think you're taking it in an entirely different direction. Let's focus on the main event.
Yes, on the main event. First off, like I told you, my interview with Jamal comes out today. I told you what happened. I crossed him. And when he went to pivot, that's when he tore his Achilles. But reality is I crossed him like AI did to Michael Jordan. Like he did to Michael Jordan. But anyhow, Jamal Hill said that when he was in his rehab, going through the process, he noticed it was just getting better, much faster than it should. And I think that is a very common theme lately in terms of these types of injuries. The ones that we thought were so bad prior aren't. And an ACL surgery used to be 9 months. Now it's like 6. An Achilles was at least a year. These guys are fighting less than a year later. Jamal Hill feels he's confident and ready to go. And I think part of the reason he was so intent on coming back against this guy is because he likes the matchup. But Alex Pereira feels the same exact way. And if we have seen him, or if to use any of his past as an indicator, you got to believe Alex Pereira.
He likes the matchup. He wants to pick up the belt that he set down, right? He never lost the belt, Jamal did. He wants to pick that belt right back up. But to face a guy like Alex Pereira after coming off an Achilles injury, a guy who leg kicks like that, who calf kicks like
That's
that,
the problem.
such a cornerstone of his game. It's not just that Alex is so good, and he is. It's how he's good. It's the way that he approaches the game that might, man, that's a big ask. I'm not saying he can't do it. It's just, that's a big challenge.
100%. I mean, the fact that he's coming back so fast and he's so dismissive of anybody asking him questions about, wow, this is a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Achilles tendon, that's a big deal. Everything that you have power-wise comes from that tendon for the most part. You know, it's a big part of it. And for him to just kind of dismiss it is completely crazy to me. I was talking to somebody that's really close to him yesterday, and they said this was almost a blessing in disguise for him, because when he had to give up the belt, he's seen becoming a champion, what that was like. You got all the friends and all these new fans that all of a sudden, you know, they start attaching themselves
all
to
of
you.
a sudden he was by
and then all of a
himself.
sudden he's coming out of the surgery room and there's nobody there.
Yep.
So it almost was like, holy crap. And he wants that back. He wants that champ
life. But
he
that's the
wants
thing.
that champ life
Well,
back. He's very motivated.
He said that, right? He goes, people don't understand what being the champion comes with in terms of your lifestyle. And he wants it to be back a part of who he is. But it's more than
115,
just
the
that,
official weight
right?
for
Dude wants to be the champion because he
Yan
feels he's the best.
Chip on his shoulder.
Look,
Big chip on his
Yan
shoulder.
Xiaonan just weighed in for
All
a
right,
championship
next fighter
opportunity.
to the scale, future
Massive
UFC Hall
power,
of Famer, the former
unbelievable fighter.
undisputed
I'm so
featherweight
happy to
champion,
see that
fighting
she
for the BMF belt here
is
on
fighting for
Saturday
the
night.
championship.
Max Blessed Holloway.
This is Max Holloway. Look,
156,
Max Holloway is one of my
weights for Max Blessed Holloway.
great friends, great friend of the program, 156 pounds. Massive opportunity. He said that this puts him back in line to fight for the welterweight championship, which he feels means so much to him.
Justin Gaethje.
And now you got Justin Gaethje, another badass. I mean, this is one of the most violent.
156, the official weight for the highlight, Justin Gaethje.
156 for JG.
To the stage, one of the
he's
best
fighting one of the
pound-for-pound
best fighters in the world.
The reigning, defending, undisputed UFC
And for
strawweight
BMF
champion.
title. 156. That's
more
the rule.
flexibility, yeah.
That's the rule that we put in place to make sure that the guys didn't have to lose that extra pound.
Like you say, wait. Like you had something to do.
You got that extra pound of like badassery, you know, hanging in there. So, obviously, Zhang Wei, the current reigning, defending now
115,
champion
the official
of
weight for
strawweight.
Zhang Wei Li.
And she really has come into
Massive underdog to Kayla Harrison.
She is ripped, boy. Look at that.
But
Right, next fighter
she's
to the
ready.
scale, one of the best light
We've seen before
heavyweights
what
in the
happens when she's a
world.
massive
One half
underdog,
of the
right?
featured prelim live on ESPN, the number 5 ranked contender, Alexander Rakic.
Speaking of ripped, did you see the pictures that he's been posting on
Man,
his
come
Instagram?
on.
Alexander Rakic is absolutely. Guys, I fight in almost 2 years, blew his knee out.
Sadiq Youssef is a guy that so many people had such high expectations for. He finally seems to be on his way. He's won 2 of his last 3 fights. He's won 8 of 10.
Charles Oliveira, former UFC lightweight champion. This is a guy who I started my career with. We started in Jersey in the Ring of Combat, and he always was so aggressive. And it's crazy how like he had made a lot of mistakes early in his career and how he's tuned it up now. He's been looking so good. 156 for Oliveira.